Good morning, everybody. Well, today is the first day of our art at home or at home art class lessons. And like I've been saying, these lessons are going to be different than the lessons that you have in school, because at school we have availability of all sorts of art materials, but at home you might not have them. So I've tried to really use materials that you could find easily at home. Some of you might have paints, and that'll be great, but I will try my best to offer up alternatives when I can. So today's lesson is all about the potato, and I chose the potato because tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, and millions will be celebrating either by wearing green or by eating corned beef and cabbage and potatoes. So for centuries, the potato was one of the main dishes in the Irish diet. And so today we're going to celebrate the potato by creating potato prints. So you can see potatoes come in all different sizes. I have just the regular standard potato, and then I have these little potatoes. This project, you need to have the assistance of an adult, because there is a part of it where you're going to have to use cutting tools. So I've used a regular knife. This is one of those knives for a grapefruit, and then this is a special art tool for carving. So older kids might have this at home, but if you don't, just simple knives will be useful as well. So first I want to show you what it looks like when you cut open a potato. So I'm going to take one of these potatoes, and my tripod's a little bit different here than at school. So you cut it in half, and hopefully you can notice that it's pretty wet. So you're going to have to take a piece of toweling, and I don't have one in sight of the camera, and set it down to kind of get the rest of soak up some of that moisture. Then you're going to use your cutting tools to create different designs. So I've cut this one already, and to make the holes I used this grapefruit knife, so you can make small ones. For these lines here, I use the very specific art tool, and to cut along the edge here to make the zigzag, I cut in on a diagonal. So someone at home can help you, but if you don't have anyone to help you, well, you will need someone to at least cut it in half for you. You can, but if you don't have, or you don't want to use any of those other fancy cutting techniques, you can just cut your potato in half and then in quarters to get different designs. So I'm going to set this aside to show you what you're going to do next. Now the next step is the printing. So for this activity, I don't really have an alternative right now, although you might be able to use food coloring for this, but I'm using just black paint, so it shows up on the screen. So I'm going to put some black paint out here, and I'm going to, you don't need your paintbrush, but I'm going to spread this out a bit because I don't want it to be lumpy. And then I'm going to start. You want to make sure that you have a piece of paper to work on, and being that this is white paper on a white background, you're not going to be able to see it really well, but you get the idea. And you want to try to fill up the whole page with some type of pattern. And just to show you what my designs look like, I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to put it in, just kind of wipe it around. And I suppose you could probably use your paintbrush to apply the paint to. And then Now my thumb has paint on it, so I want to be careful. I don't want to get that on my paper. So I'm going to start at the top, and I've pressed down on a diagonal. So that looks pretty cool. Now the second time I print it, it's going to be a little bit lighter. Okay. So now I'm going to go back, add some more. So that's what that looks like. I'm going to set this one aside. I also cut out half, and I cut away part of it. Now I haven't tried this one yet, so we'll see what this looks like. Well, that's kind of fun. And you can change directions. Looks like a horseshoe. So hopefully you get the idea. Here's one I cut yesterday from a smaller potato, and this one's a little bit more dried out, so we'll see how this one prints. So change direction. Okay. And then if you just use half, now this one's still kind of wet, I'm going to blot it on the toweling and see what that looks like. Oh, yeah. So there's all sorts of things that you can do with this. Now your job is to be creative, and you've just learned about potato printing. How can you use all this information to make a picture? If you are able to, I would love it if you would send me a picture of your finished work. You can send it to my email address at work, or I will provide you another way to send it to me in either your Google Classroom or I don't know, some other way. But I can't wait to see what you come up with. Check back for your next video. Have fun.